What's that? Who's there? Oh, it's you. Hey, welcome back to Cheap Comic Collector. It's time for another episode, and this is going to be number. Let me see. 264. Number 264 we got going. Oh, what's. One of my action figures just falling down up there. If I hadn't been looking at that, I wouldn't even have seen it. Let's take a look. It's Iron Man, Spider-Woman from Iron Man collection. Back, way back when they had the Marvel Action Hour cartoon going on, I guess. And it does not want to go back up there right now, so I guess I'll just put it right there for now. So, hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's having a good day. Today, we're taking a look at some Sergeant Rock. I got a whole stack here of Sergeant Rock that came in from Dr. Skull auctions on eBay. Dr. Skull 9, mentioned him before. There'll be a link at the end of the video if you want to check him out. And he's got, I won't go into all his eBay sites and stuff. I already talked about those quite a bit recently. So, so you're probably aware of that. So yeah, we're going to take a look at Sergeant Rock. Franklin John Rock is his full name, and he first appeared in Our Army at War in 1959, issue number 83. Creation of Robert Kanigher and Joe Kubert. And what's interesting is that they pretty much stayed with that character throughout its entire run. Yeah, these are issues towards the end of the run. Our Army at War changed its numbering at some point and became the Sergeant Rock title, and it went all the way up to, let's see, this is the next to last issue, so it went all the way up to number 422 in 1988. I believe that is. Yep. So the original run went to 1988. So 1959 to 1988, it had Sergeant Rock had the same creative team pretty much working on him the entire time. Joe Kubert didn't always draw the stories, but he did, as far as I know, do all of the covers. And Sergeant Rock's had it's pretty much DC's best known war character. And I was doing a little research on the character just to refresh my memory. Had to look all over the place. I pulled out that the Who's Who binder that I showed you of 90s. He didn't have an entry in the 90s. And so I went back to the original Who's Who series, pulled that out, and kind of skimmed through it. It didn't have a whole lot of information in there. Looked on Wikipedia, found some interesting information on there. But I had to go through all these, different places, that and Grand Comics database, to find out more information about the character. There wasn't really a good source that just told everything. So Wikipedia claims that he's got a brother and a sister, but if you look in Who's Who, it actually says he has 3 brothers and a sister. And according to the Who's Who, the original Who's Who entry, they didn't reveal how he died. Robert Kanigher, the original, writer and the creator, he says in the letters pages, according to Wikipedia, that as far as he's concerned, Sergeant Rock was pretty much strictly a war character. Him and Easy Company, as far as he's concerned, died in the final days of World War II. But of course, DC Comics has brought him back time after time after time. So, but according to Robert Kanigher, for his his Sergeant Rock died in the end of World War II, and that's it. He didn't like the superhero team ups. He didn't like that he teamed up with Batman and the Brave and Bold and all that stuff. But he just wanted him to strictly be a war character. So, and then after this, the original series ended. DC came back out with Sergeant Rock again in 1988. They kind of rebooted it as a reprint series with new covers. Showed you the first issue that a few episodes ago, where they had Sergeant Rock team reprinted a storyline where Sergeant Rock teamed up with the Viking Prince from some old Our Army at War issues, and so he's a cool character. He's a cool character. They brought him back a few times in different miniseries and stuff like that. I think there was one called The Lost Battalion and The Prophecy, and then most recently they did a horror comic with Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead. That was in 2022. Lasted 6 issues. Haven't read it. Just know that by going looking up the information. And then he actually had a action figure line in the 80s. Remco Toys did a series of carded figures with Sergeant Rock and Easy Company, and they had they were pretty much just generic soldiers with the Sergeant Rock name on them, pretty much. Looked like they were kind of formed to compete with the G.I. Joe toy line from Hasbro. But then also the G.I. Joe people at Hasbro did a 12-inch series of G.I. Joes that were based on Sergeant Rock and some members of Easy Company. There was a Sergeant Rock doll and a bulldozer and a little Sure Shot, Jackie Johnson, and a Wild Man doll that was part of the G.I. Joe lines. So that's cool. Anyway, we'll just, that's enough history. Let's get into the comics I got in. Take a look at those. And let me turn the light on. Nope, I don't have any power on the light. Hold on just a second. There we go. Somehow that got unplugged. All right, so we have Sergeant Rock number 369 first off. And these are all in really nice looking shape. They're I paid up a little bit for these with shipping. They came to $1.45, so they were still 99 cents an issue, but the shipping came out to be a little bit more per issue. I think I just didn't have as many comics in this box as I normally do. I think there's 20 issues here, something like that. So anyway, this is Sergeant Rock 369, 1982. So Sergeant Rock and Easy Company, created and written by Bob Kanigher, edited by Joe Kubert, art by Frank Redondo, and of course Joe Kubert did the art on the covers like he always does. So good stuff. Just Robert Kanigher was kind of DC's go-to guy for this kind of art, for any war art or that kind of feature. And then it's got backup stories. Got Big Game. This one is by Bill Kelly and Tom Mandrake. Sorry, the credits were hidden up there in the leaves of the tree. And basically it looks like it's just got a panther attack. So yeah, I mentioned, I think last time, that I was surprised that these weren't strictly Sergeant Rock issues, that they had backup stories. I didn't realize that that Sergeant Rock was still an anthology title after they gave him the title of the magazine. Then we got the next issue, number 370, 1982. Same creative team, Frank Redondo on the art. So yeah, Robert Kanigher was their go-to guy for writing these types of stories, and Frank Redondo, I think, was pretty much the artist, along with Joe Kubert, who worked on most of this stuff. And, oh, there's an ad for the Remco action figures. Sergeant Rock 3/4-inch action figure, combat ready with weapon and gear, fully posable with a free dog tag with your own serial number. And then you got a story called Big Fish, Little Fish. And not seeing credits on that one. It's just a little two-page story about a submarine. Looks like. And then the Infiltrator. And someone named Randall did this one. Not first name doesn't come to mind for that one for me. But anyway, these are good stuff. I haven't read a whole lot of Sergeant Rock, but I have read like the first couple annuals I think I got when they came out, and I enjoyed them. Was never a big war comic guy growing up, but I think I'll like these now a lot more than I would have then, and I enjoyed them then. So, let's see, we've got a Saturday morning Pac-Man ad for ABC. My cartoon episode has been doing pretty well when it came out. It's only a couple days when I'm filming this. There's another one for CBS. And people seem to really like it. It got more views than my regular episodes do. And so I might do some more. I'm a little scared of getting struck for copyright notices now, but worst comes to worst, I just take it down. And so I'm actually gonna, and one of the, I forget who, somebody actually requested that I do one for the 80s. So yeah, we might do another one. I think I'll put this one to the side so I can use that as a reference for maybe doing another one of those. And we got Sergeant Rock 372. I don't know why I'm putting these upside down so you can't see them. That's kind of silly. Let's see. These are pretty much all the same, so I don't think there's a whole lot of point in going through all of them. We got 373. 374. 375. And these are all in really nice shape too. They don't have spine ticks, or this one maybe got a little coloring issues on the edge of it, but yeah, for the most part, these are really, really nice shape. And let's see, here's 377. What'll I do if I run out of ammo? What if my rifle doesn't work? What if stop worrying and start fighting Worrywart? So Worrywart is the newest addition to Easy Company. They all had their own little personality ticks, I guess you'd call them. And here's number 378. Wars and holidays don't mix for Easy Company in Christmas in July. So I actually have some sort of Christmas issue. 383. Looks like the Nazis are gonna confiscate that fairy tale book right there. And number 396, Children in War. Herein, our story is written by Robert Kanigher and illustrated by Russ Heath, depicting the young innocents caught in the agony of war. At some point, Joe Kubert and another writer did a final story for Sergeant Rock. I'm not sure where it was published. I read about it in my research, where it basically tells the last days of Sergeant Rock at the end of World War II, where he kills protecting a child from something, and the bullet that kills him is the last bullet fired during World War II. But of course, like I said, they've had suicide. They've had Sergeant Rock show up in Suicide Squad and some other places. So who knows? Did they clone him? Did they? You know, it's hard to say. Oh, there's another Saturday morning. This one is for NBC. So lots of material here for more Saturday morning episodes if I can find the clips. This looks like this is unusual because they've it ends on a half page and then the letter column starts, and then the other story, and they're both Sergeant Rock stories in this one. So and then the second story ends on a half page as well with the second part of the letters page. Different. I don't see anything indicating these were reprints or anything. But it's possible that it was old inventory or something, I suppose. So put that one to the side too, since it's got some more cartoon things in it. Sergeant Rock 402 featuring Wild Man. He's getting a medal he doesn't deserve, from 1984. And so I wonder if that was I wonder if there's no longer an anthology, if it's just Sergeant Rock now. There's the letter column. And it's got Bob Kanigher's Gallery of War, Horseless, with art by Rick Estrada. And then Battle Album, the New Legion, showing the Roman Empire. And actually a humor page, Rank and File, by somebody named Vincent. Cool stuff. I used to love these Meanwhile columns. I half the time I would enjoy the Meanwhile columns back in the 80s more than I did the book I was reading. I almost always would flip through the book and then read that first before I read the actual book. And here's 411. Who was the man behind the rock? So just great Joe Kubert art through these. Oh, this was printed with the new color process. So you got the color is a little bit jarring. This is when they changed their color process back in the 80s. Written by Robert Kanigher, art by Andy Kubert. So, art and lettering by Andy Kubert. I think a little while back we showed a comic where he had done the lettering. Now he's doing art and lettering. He's learning. He's learning. And then we got some, what's this? Morning in the Wind by George Cashton, art by Dick Ayers. Bring 'Em Back Alive or Dead by Robert Kanigher, art by Angel Trinidad Jr. And I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that since Joe Kubert was the editor, that most of these artists that I'm not familiar with were probably people from his school, either graduates or maybe even people who were going there. I don't know how that all worked, but let's see. Here we got Sergeant Rock, and I know that's Mademoiselle Marie, who in that story of that I told you of when Sergeant Rock died in World War II with the last bullet, she shows up at the whole thing is told in flashback in our veterans reunion, and she shows up with a son who looks like Sergeant Rock. And she was basically a spy that he worked with, and is that the haunted tank? Yes, Jeb Stewart. Thought it looked like him, but I couldn't find anything that said. And anyway, so yeah, they would hook up occasionally in stories, and then especially this is 86, so this would have been after, like I know in the first Sergeant Rock annual that came out in the 80s, which is actually annual number 2. They teamed her and Haunted Tank and the Sergeant Rock guys, so that was kind of my introduction to most of these characters. When they were all in this story together, so that's why I know who these people are. Wired for Action by George Cashwan, artist Joe Mattuccino, something like that. It's hard to read the lettering there. Can't quite tell the artist name on that one either. They signed it with they put his signature as the art credit. I can't read it. Anyway, we'll skip through some of these. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show you when I get around to reading them. There's another Christmas story, a Christmas combat classic, The Shining Star. Sergeant Rock number 414. So that's cool. Number 416, Music for Killing, Ballad for Bullets. And Sergeant Rock, number 418, he found their missing buddies hanging from a tree. And there's a cool cover, Sergeant Rock number 419 from 1987. Well, that's pretty cool. By Joe Kubert, of course. And here we have one called The Secret Executioners, number 420. And this is the second to last issue of the series, number 421 from 1988 or 1986. I said before, 1988. I was right. Without my glasses on, it looks like a 6. And then this one is, yeah, the bag is just nasty. It's got a nice cover on it. The bag is just weird. It's got something stuck to it or something. And then we have Sergeant Rock Annual number 4, lastly, which I have not seen before. So I got Joe Kubert on the cover. It's from 1984. I have 2 and 3, but I didn't have number 4. Talks about Attila and Hitler at the beginning. And then you got Frank Redondo doing the art, Bob Kanigher doing the story, and Joe Kubert doing his usual editing gig. And it looks like Hitler's actually in this one. And it looks like it's going to go through the whole issue. So one really long Sergeant Rock story. Cool. Oh, and then in the Meanwhile column actually has a spotlight on Sergeant Rock. Let's see. Who cares about World War II or anything that concerns a war that occurred over 40 years ago? That's a fair question, especially since Sergeant Rock and the battle-happy Joes of Easy Company are the main characters whose stories are told against the, I don't know that word, against the panoply of the 1941-45 war years. These are the stories of people caught in that dramatic world conflict, people like you and me reacting to situations thrust upon them by events beyond their control. Sergeant Rock, top kicker of Easy, is responsible for his men and their assigned missions. He's not a professional soldier, but he's in for the duration. Among the Easy regulars is Bulldozer, a mountain of a man with a heart as soft as melted butter. Little Sure Shot came into the Army from an Indian reservation in the American West, belying his short stature with the actions he displays. Ice Cream Soldier plays it cool under all conditions, while Wild Man has been known to flare up under fire that matches his red beard and hair. Jackie Johnson, Black X heavyweight champion, displays a taciturn disposition except when his strength and powers are needed. Along with Four Eyes, Zack, Long Round and Short Round, and Whistler, these veterans make up the backbone of Easy Company. But they all differ little from you and me. Caught in the life and death struggles of war, they do that which they must to survive and win. There are no heroes in Easy, only men who feel a responsibility for their jobs and their buddies. Perhaps that's why their stories have sparked the interest of readers for more than 30 years. And that was written by Joe Kubert. And it's a guest spot in Dick Giordano's Meanwhile column. So, nice little tribute there to Sergeant Rock. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. We've got, oh, don't want to do that. I've got to keep those separate. These are issues I already have, so you know what that means. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Forgot to do that at the beginning. But if you've watched this far, you probably already have. So thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow. I I got some more comics in today. So, yes, the comic spigots have opened back up. They are flowing in. And so we'll have some good comics to look at in the coming episodes. So thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.